Is Epique Realty really paying out stock to their agents? And can you see some proof? If that's something you're curious about, you're in the right place. Let's chat. Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with The Curious Agent, and I've joined Epique Realty. And I'd like to share with you just some insight from what's happening on inside the actual business. So I've had people say, "Hey, Mike, can you show us some more of the actual real life stuff in there?" And so I'm going to show you a little bit today. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to show you one of my pages inside the system that shows my stock. I purchased stock and I've been awarded stock, and so I'll just show you that real fast, and you can kind of get a feel for what's going on in there. By the way, it's a private company. Before we jump in there, it's a private company, so this is all private stock, which means it's worth absolutely nothing on the open market. So just so you know, it's worth zero today. We're all taking a risk and a gamble that it does turn into something later on down the road when the company plans to do an IPO or initial public offering and take the private stock and go into the public market and put it on one of the exchanges, and then it can be publicly traded. And so you take a little bit of risk as a early investor, if you will, in the company. And so the agents inside the company get awards of stock for doing certain things. And they also can purchase stock at a discount. I'm just going to show you a couple of those. There's a whole list, but let me just show you a couple that I think would be very interesting and maybe helpful to you. So let me share my screen real fast. Just give me a second. And here we go. So you should be able to see my screen. And I've been with the company for a little while, and here are some of the stock awards that I've received, as well as some of the stock that I purchased. By the way, I haven't been selling until just recently. I just sold my first transaction. I do a lot of other things. As you may know my story, I've been basically in the industry for 32 years now. I've been kind of semi-retired from real estate sales, but I decided to sell some properties this year, and so that's one of these things in here. And let's just walk through it. This first one is the company just gave me 50 shares just because I sold my first property. Right now, by the way, they're valuing shares at about 53 cents a piece. That'll fluctuate, but that's what I believe it is currently today. Um, Make sure you verify that if it's part of your decision process. Next is I had a closing and I purchased some shares with my commission. I used 10% of my commission to buy shares at a 20% discount. And that's what that's showing right there, where I got 2,787, so 2,787 shares, which was pretty cool. And let me show you that for a sec. Well, I'll come back to this. So let me just also show that I had an option to purchase some shares from the company. The company gave all of the agents an opportunity to buy. And I took advantage of that. And so I think I spent $500 and bought 1,000 shares, something like that. And I also got some shares when I joined, and I got some shares when I brought some people in, et cetera, et cetera. What I'd like to do is share this one. By the way, here's the vesting over on the right. I think that's important to know. When the company gives you shares, there's a 3-year window before they vest, before you actually get to receive them. So they're kind of sitting on hold. It's kind of like a loyalty item there, that if you're loyal to the company, you'll get this nice reward. And then there are some that you get right away. For instance, when I purchased them, I get immediate ownership of them. And then also when I have a closing and I use my commission to purchase it, there's no vesting on those two. I get to keep them and I get access to them and ownership immediately. What I'd like to point out is this: do you really get a buy at a 20% discount? Well, you can see the number of shares that I have, and I've told you the price currently was 53 cents. Let's walk through it. For instance, we took 10% of my commission check, my net commission check, which was 1181.75, and use that to buy shares. So I'm going to use my little calculator to the right. We got 1181.75. That's how much money I've invested in this through my commission, or with my commission money. And so if I just take that and divide by the 53 cents for the number of how much a share costs, that would have bought me 2,229 shares, almost 2,230. But you notice I got more than that. I got 2787. If I go subtract that minus 2787, so I got an extra 557 shares, which is pretty cool. That was my bonus. And to verify that, I'll do it one other way. I'm going to take the 53 cents and I'm going to do 80% of that. So it's basically, I'm buying shares at 42 cents, 42.4 cents. And so let's do it that way, which will be really interesting to verify. So I got 11, 81.75. I divide by point, what was it, 424? I think that was right. And there we go. We have the 2787 number of shares that were purchased for me and are instantly available to me. We again are a private market. We're not on the public market, so I can't sell them. I think there's actually a way to possibly sell it back to the company, but that's something you should verify. I'm not 100% on that, but I thought I heard somebody say that recently. But I assume I can't sell them, and that if the company does IPO, then these things will have some value. In fact, I'm going to just talk to you directly for a second. So again, hopefully I was valuable to take a peek at that. But I assume that these shares have no value at all, and I'm just taking a little gamble. And so don't buy any shares if you can't take that risk, if you need the money right away. But for me, if they do IPO and things work out, and by the way, there's no guarantees on any of this, it could be worth something down the line. It has been for other agents and other companies, and I think it will be for us. All I know for sure, well, I don't know anything for sure. All I've heard is that from the company leadership is that they plan on doing an IPO in the next year. I believe in 2026, that's their goal. May not happen, maybe happens, maybe it get pushed off forever, maybe it happens sooner. I don't know what they're going to do, but I want you to know that this is a possibility. They are in fact tracking it. I can see what's going on. I'm very confident in the company. I'm investing my own effort, money, and time into it. And so I think it's pretty cool. If you have any questions about Epique Realty, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. If you like this material, give us a thumbs up. If you would like to chat with me about Epique Realty and to see if it's a good fit for you or not, and what your goals are, go ahead and there's a button down in the description below. If you click on that, you can get on my schedule and we'll have a little private one-on-one talk. And you can kind of tell me what your situation is. And I'd be happy to tell you whether I think it is or isn't a good fit. By the way, I have told quite a few people it's not a good fit for multiple reasons. You're like, well, what would that be? Well, an example was in their state, they wanted to do property management, but for our company in that state, we weren't doing property management, and that state didn't allow you to do it at another company simultaneously. Some companies will allow, or some states will allow it, some won't. So that's just kind of an example. If I know what your goals are and your objectives, I can say, this is a good match or this is not a good match, or maybe you should look over here. Anyway, I'd be happy to do that for you. Hope this has been helpful in some way, and I hope you have a fantastic and productive day. Take care. Bye for now.